Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 596, A Quiet Victory, words with a silent G, intermediate. A story incorporating words which are pronounced with a silent G. Emma was an expert in political branding. Her new client, Arthur Penington, was a charismatic but struggling mayoral candidate. The entire success of his campaign now fell on her shoulders. She felt a slight tremor in her diaphragm as she prepared for her first meeting, a common sign of the high stakes she faced. She was assigned a single, clear objective: to rebrand the candidate from the ground up. She had to design a new logo and a fresh strategy that would resonate with voters. Her first step was to get the team to align on a unified message. This was harder than it sounded. The campaign manager, Eleanor, a woman with a surprisingly benign nature beneath her stern exterior, insisted on a traditional approach. Emma, however, believed in a modern one. The tension grew when a reporter for a foreign publication wrote a critical article. Rumors swirled that the campaign's communications director might even resign. Emma felt the pressure mounting, but she stuck to her principles. She was convinced her strategy was the right one. After weeks of long nights, she presented the new brand identity. Arthur Penington saw the new vision and was impressed. Without hesitation, he took a pen and put his sign of approval on the final document. The new posters went up across the city. The new era was about to reign. The night of the election, the team huddled around a television, watching the results trickle in. The numbers showed a decisive victory. Arthur Penington was the new mayor. A triumphant cheer filled the room as someone popped a bottle of champagne. As the fizz cascaded into crystal glasses, Emma toasted the team. She knew the work had been difficult, but the result was a quiet victory that had been hard-won. Vocabulary notes. Campaign. Meaning, a planned series of activities intended to achieve a particular social, commercial, or political goal. In the story, it refers to the political effort to get Arthur Penington elected. Example, the entire success of his campaign now fell on her shoulders. Similar words: crusade, movement, drive, effort. Assigned. Meaning, to give someone a particular job or task. In the story, Emma was given the specific task of rebranding the candidate. Example, she was assigned a single, clear objective: to rebrand the candidate from the ground up. Similar words: allocated, delegated, tasked, appointed. Benign. Meaning, gentle, kind, or not harmful. It's often used to describe someone's character or a medical condition that is not dangerous. In the story, it describes Eleanor's surprisingly kind personality. Example, the campaign manager, Eleanor, a woman with a surprisingly benign nature beneath her stern exterior, insisted on a traditional approach. Similar words: gentle, harmless, good-natured, compassionate. Resign. Meaning, to formally leave a job or position. In the story, there are rumors that a key member of the team might quit under pressure. Example, rumors swirled that the campaign's communications director might even resign. Similar words: quit, step down, give up, hand in one's notice. Reign. Meaning, to hold the position of a king or queen, more broadly, to be the dominant power or influence. In the story, it's used metaphorically to describe the new era of the campaign's brand identity. Example, the new era was about to reign. Similar words: rule, dominate, prevail, govern. Story written by Gemini Pro AI. Image created by Imagio AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, unicorn heads.
Hey there, and welcome back to The Explainer. All right, so today we're going to put on our detective hats to solve a classic linguistic mystery. We've got a case file open, and the first question is a real head-scratcher. I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about this? You see the letter, your brain registers that it's there, but when you speak, it just vanishes. It's like a little secret agent hiding in plain sight. So what's the deal?
Well, believe it or not, it's all part of a silent conspiracy. And today we're going to blow the whole thing wide open. We're going to track down this silent G, figure out where it's hiding, and really understand why it's there in the first place.
So that's our mission today. We are following a trail of clues to unmask one of the English language's most notorious usual suspects, the silent G. Every good investigation needs a case file, right? And ours is a really juicy one. It's a story all about high-stakes political branding, where words are basically weapons and every single message counts. Okay, so get this. Our main character is Emma, a total guru when it comes to political branding. Her client, a guy named Arthur Penington, a mayoral candidate whose campaign is, well, it's sinking and fast. The pressure is on, the clock is ticking, and this story is where we're going to find all our clues. All right, it's time. Let's crack open this case file and start looking for some hard evidence. Our very first clue pops up right at the beginning of Emma's mission.
And boom, there it is, our first suspect, the word assigned. Emma has her mission, and this one word just perfectly sets the stage for the whole story.
The meaning's pretty straightforward, but just listen to how it sounds. Assigned. That G is totally silent, so why is it even there? Well, it's basically a historical ghost. This GN spelling came into English from languages like Latin and French, where you'd actually pronounce it, but over hundreds of years, the English pronunciation just smoothed it out. The spelling, though, it stuck around, like a fossil in the word, and it points back to its relatives like signature or designate, where you can actually hear that G sound. Now, sure, you could use words like allocated or delegated, but assigned just has that official weight, It really captures the seriousness of her mission. Okay, let's see what else we've got as the plot thickens. And here's our second clue, benign. It's used here to describe a character's personality. So Eleanor looks all tough on the outside, but underneath it all, she's actually really kind. It's a fantastic little bit of character writing. Listen to that again. Benign. See? No G sound at all. This is another one of those historical clues, and it links the word to its cousins, like benignant, where that G sound comes back to life. In our story, this detail about her reveals a hidden depth to her character. So yeah, all these words tell us Eleanor is a good person, but only benign has that sneaky little silent clue that we're hunting for. Okay, let's just take a quick time out here and look at our evidence board. This timeline shows us exactly where our clues are popping up. We found assigned and benign in the story's setup. Now let's see what happens when the campaign hits a major crisis. And just like that, we are right in the middle of some high-stakes drama. The pressure is on, and it looks like someone might be about to quit. Our third clue is resign. You can just feel the stress of the campaign in that one sentence. To resign is to quit, basically. And again, listen, re-sign. The G is silent, but it's not useless. Just like in assigned, it's a fossil, a little breadcrumb trail leading back to its word family. Think about resignation. Suddenly that G sound is back in action. I mean, you could just quit a job, right? Or step down. But to resign, that sounds so much more formal and serious, which is just perfect for the political drama in our story. So after all that stress, the campaign pulls it off. Emma's strategy works. And this brings us to our final clue, reign. The campaign isn't just back on its feet, it's about to completely take over. The word reign usually makes you think of kings and queens, right? It's connected to words like regal, but here it's used in this awesome metaphorical way. The campaign is about to rule the city. And we see that same pattern again. The spelling is a historical relic, but that G is completely silent. This feeling of total victory really wraps up our evidence-gathering phase. So, what's next? It's time for the lineup. All right, detectives, we've got our evidence, we've followed the trail. Now it's time to bring in the suspects for a final lineup and review the evidence one last time. So let's look at it. We've got assigned, benign, resign, and reign. And what's the common thread? Every single one has a silent G that's basically a secret map to the word's history and its meaning. So, case closed, right? Well, kinda. But what's the big takeaway here? It actually ties back really nicely to the theme of our story and to your own journey with the English language. Think about it. In this story, Emma scores this amazing, quiet, hard-won victory for her candidate. And in a way, that's exactly what you've just done. By cracking the case of the silent G, you've added a really powerful new layer to how you understand English. And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. The silent G is just one suspect, right? What other linguistic secrets are just waiting to be discovered in the words you use every single day? The investigation, my friends, is never really over.